Alright, hey guys, my name is Anthony. I go to Lake Wilmerding High School and I'm an upcoming senior. And as you can see here, I have my fingerprint scanner working and my keypad working. So basically I'm gonna type my password in the keypad and then put my fingerprint on the fingerprint scanner and it's gonna turn on this LED. So I'm gonna start. It's gonna turn this on. Just wait for a few seconds. And voila, the LED turns on. So basically, just to give you the run through, this fingerprint scanner is kind of weird in that it runs on 5 volts. As you can see, I have this hooked straight up to the 5 volt, but the transmitting cable needs to have a voltage divider, which brings the voltage from 5 volts down to 3.3. And that's because even though this fingerprint scanner runs on 5 volts, the processing runs on 3.3 volts. And so I have like a voltage divider with a 560 and 1K ohm resistor. And that's so that I don't fry the fingerprint scanner. And basically, as you can see on this keypad, there's 7 pins. And if you look more closely onto here, you might not be able to see it, but it has 1 through 7. And there's 3 column pins and 4 row pins, depending on which way you see it. But basically how this matrix keypad works is that whenever I press a key, each key has a unique combination of row and column pins that it transmits through. And so that's how you identify, or that's the kind of keypad's way of identifying which key is which. Yeah, and to do this there's only 7 pins necessary. So yeah, that's why there's only 7. Yeah, basically, so onto my code. So on my code, I have an array here, and this array kind of so an array is basically a list of variables, and this array is set up in a way in combination with these lines of code here, so that the Arduino basically can tell, or it knows the keys on the keypad and can interface with the keys. So every time I press a key, right, it transmits through the 2 pins. And so this is kind of the way of translating the language of the keypad into the Arduino, and so they can understand each other. And a really essential part of my code is libraries. And these libraries are made by other people to make life easier for me, and so that I can run the certain functions required on each of the different objects. And so yeah, the code works. It starts with the keypad here, and so every time I press a key, I run a code that adds whatever key I pressed the password string, because just like every other digit-based password, I need to type my keys in the right order to get the right password. And it also adds a kind of a key counter, so that it limits the maximum amount of keys in the password string to 4. And so once it hits that limit of 4, it evaluates the password, and if it's true, it turns on the fingerprint scanner. And once the fingerprint scanner is on, it waits for about 6 seconds and then checks to see if there's a fingerprint on it, or if there's a finger on it. And if there is, then it's going to run it through the database of fingerprints. And the database of fingerprints isn't on the Arduino, it's actually on the fingerprint scanner itself. This fingerprint scanner can store up to 200 fingerprints. And if the fingerprint matches up with the fingerprints on this database, then it's going to tell the Arduino to turn on the LED. Posted in this milestone is also the entire code and the entire documentation. So if you want a more in-depth explanation, it's all going to be there. Thank you.